So for me, I guess the best thing is really not to internalize it. It's about seeing people's good intentions and really meeting them where they're at. Because for me, the greater goal is social change. So it's only to my benefit not to internalize it. Anticipating the context that they work or live in that might be contributing to their current approach to these concepts. It helps me to figure out how to challenge their thinking in a way that's not as threatening and to help them to evolve.
It really depends on the type of resistance and the context. In large groups, I tend to avoid any ideological debates, and I definitely won't engage with anyone too much who is obviously trying to derail things. Otherwise, I usually respond with a gentle curiosity. Tell me more about that. Can you explain what you mean a little further, please? I find this opens up dialogue, allows you to listen and to understand the person a little more, and makes them feel heard. Most importantly, it also buys you some time to think.
For me, it's been about preparing myself before meeting people face to face. I'll prepare counters for the arguments I've previously encountered and make sure that my knowledge of the content is really solid, so I feel confident arguing my case. In terms of strategy, what I think is important is to find the allies within the organisation. Change in this space always happens more slowly than you would like it to, and it can be disillusioning to work within a system where you experience pushback and you don't feel like you're gaining ground at the rate that you would like. Staying connected to people within the organisation who share your goals and values is incredibly important.
It's also really important to not let it drain you either. It's important to know your limits and to avoid negative effects on your own mental health.
I think we sometimes need to remember it isn't our job to convince others why women's rights are important. It's unfortunate that we have to speak of it so often in order to convince people of its relevance.
I really use the early childhood curriculum frameworks and talk about learning outcomes as a starting point. I know that I'm mandated to create a safe and equitable space for children, and this gives me confidence when planning for those difficult conversations that we sometimes have.
So the work that we've done on resistance over the past 12 months at Vic Health has given us a range of strategies to both prepare for and respond to resistance when it arises. So these include things such as framing strategies, which is how you frame an initiative and explain why it's important to partners or to the community. Secondly, organisational strategies. This can refer to how you involve leaders and how you address organisational structures, policies and practices within a workplace. And lastly, teaching and learning strategies is the other form. So these strategies include how you might deliver training, the skills of the trainers and also the techniques that they use to engage and educate their audience. I think last of all, it's really important to practice your own self-care and identify those allies who can support you and your work in gender equality.